Oscars time, baby.
Yes, I'm ready for your rant.
Me rant about things. Never. It's fake news. Never happened. This way you play like a million clips. uh, right, so we're just going to go through. We're going to read out the nominations again, like we did about a month ago, and we're now also going to give you the winner. It's like we're doing the Oscars for you. Much better. Um, Actor in a lead role. The nominations were Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice.
Mhm.
The popular opinion was that Fiennes, Stan, or Chalamet would win. That people were of the opinion they were the three best performances of the year. And after that, it became a my guy versus your guy type beat. Anyone was happy if one of them three won, but most
Yep.
people had a favourite. The winner was Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. I'm sure it's a worthy performance. Obviously, as we discussed during the nominations, big black cloud because of the use of AI in his um, Ukrainian, Bulgarian,
Dutch.
was it Dutch?
I think it
An
was Dutch.
accent in the film was enhanced via AI.
Mhm.
People think that kind of is a knock on should the actor win an award when their performance was enhanced with AI.
Yep.
I think that is one of the more valid complaints you're ever going to hear about an award.
Mhm.
Is Sebastian Stan spent months putting on a fuck ton of weight, studying Donald Trump's mannerisms.
Yep.
He had to go to therapy because he got so deep in this hole with Donald Trump, which is not a nice hole to be in.
No.
Um, and people like he put himself through that. Ralph Fiennes, who is a phenomenal actor, put on one of the best acting performances of his career. And they've lost out to someone who used AI.
Mm. Yeah.
Actress in a lead. Cynthia Varro for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Mikey Madison was the winner for Honora. Sounds like a worthy performance. I'm not saying it isn't. I've not seen any of these films. I can't comment. What I have seen is people have done a lot of breakdowns since, and they've noticed that there is a very disproportionate amount of lead actresses who win this role who played women who were strippers, prostitutes, sex workers of that ilk in films. So people are questioning what the Oscars are doing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actor in a support, I believe this was the least dramatic category of
It's
the Oscars.
controversial.
Yes. The nominations were Yura Borisov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. There was a little bit of pre-drama for this award, with Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin having worked together on the TV show Succession, in which Jeremy Strong is a very method actor to a fault, and that rubs people the wrong way.
Right.
Kieran Culkin is very much I'm a professional actor, I'm just going to turn up and do my shit, which is annoying to people in another way.
Yep.
They are almost the complete opposites in that way. So a lot of people are like, oh, apparently they hated each other on set and now they're competing against each other for an Oscar, blah, blah, blah. And Kieran Culkin won. Congratulations, Kieran Culkin. And in his speech, he said, I love you, Jeremy. You made me a better actor while we worked together. Thank you so much for this award. So that kind of destroyed any drama people wanted there to be, because Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin were both rooting for each other and they had a nice moment afterwards as well. So, get fucked drama.
I also hear his wife lost a bet, so now he's having 4 kids.
Yes. Apparently they've now gone from 2 to 4 kids in the life plan. Because before winning an Emmy, she said, if you win an Emmy, we can have a 3rd kid.
Yeah.
And then he won an Emmy, and she went, if you win an Oscar, we could have a 4th kid. And now he's won an Oscar, and obviously he told that anecdote in his speech. Very funny. Actress in a supporting role. Monica Barbau for A Complete Unknown. Ariana Grande for Wicked. Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. The winner was Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. As I touched on, and I've not looked into it anymore, Emilia Perez is a film that has a lot of controversy around it. People aren't happy. I'm not going to touch it with 10-foot barge pole because I am not informed enough to discuss the nuances. Animated feature film. Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. The winner was Flow. Now, I'm going to put this at the top. Flow is, by all accounts, a phenomenal film. It was made entirely in Blender. It was a passion project. I'm not saying that Flow is not a great film. On the flip side, The Wild Robot, across all various award shows, is one of the most nominated animated films of all time. It has not won a single award for being the best animated film.
It's quite interesting that you can be the most awarded animated film but not win the best.
I'm not saying that more nominations makes you better film. I'm not saying that is the case. It doesn't mean you. If you're the second best at everything, you're a better film than the film that's the 3 best in one category and then dog shit everything else. I do understand that concept. However, I watch a lot of films. 2024 might be the most films I've watched in a year in about 5 years. I made a real effort to watch old films from my backlog and new films in the cinema last year. The Wild Robot is absolutely one of my favourite films I've ever seen. It's a masterpiece. I really struggle to understand how Flow is better than it. I'm going to have to sit down and watch Flow. Because if I don't, I might just go insane. I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know. And you know what? That is the good thing about an award show. Because I wouldn't have watched... If The Wild Robot watched, I probably wouldn't have watched Flow. But now,
it's interesting because
I just kind of need to know.
More nominations doesn't mean you are the best. But by laws of averages, for how many times it got nominated for Best Animated Picture, and not all of these other ones did, you would think that it would win once. Not necessarily saying it should have won the Oscar, but one of these awards it should realistically should have won then. But yeah,
so,
it's a...
Just to put some numbers on it, and numbers don't mean anything, let's be clear. Ratings. The Wild Robot on IMDb got an 8.2 out of 10. Horrifically low. Rotten Tomatoes, it got 96%. Flow got 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.9 on IMDb. Like I said, I'm just going to have to watch it. Maybe it'll piss me off more because I'll be like, there is no way that's better than The Wild Robot. Maybe I won't like it as much, but I'll kind of see why they felt that way. I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned right now, The Wild Robot was robbed.
I think that's fair.
Animated short. You had Beautiful Men, In the Shadows of Cyprus, Magic Candies, Wonder to Wonder, and Yuck. Don't know anything about any of these. In the Shadow of Cyprus was the winner. As far as I know, no drama. We love it. Cinematography. I might have accidentally mistyped his name here. Is his name Lowell? And I've just gaslit myself. Yeah, his name's Lowell. Lowell Crawley for The Brutalist. Greg Fraser for Dune Part 2. Paul Guillaume for Emilia Perez. Ed Lachman for Maria. And Jarin Blasky for Nosferatu. The winner was Lola Crawley for The Brutalist. I've not seen it. I cannot comment. I am impressed that many people think the cinematography was better than Dune Part 2.
Well, that's because they didn't watch Dune Part 2 to vote on it. So
yeah, there may be a little bit of that going on. Side note, if anyone has access to the app that the Oscars gives these people to watch all of the films in the world,
I saw that.
Drop me your login details.
Is that do they have password sharing allowed?
Costume design. We had Ariana Phillips for A Complete Unknown, Lissy Crystal for Conclave, Janty Yates and Dave Crossman for Gladiator 2, Linda Muir for Nosferatu, and Paul Tazewell for Wicked. Wicked was the winner, or Paul Tazewell rather. This film had a little bit of drama around it. People, ironically, a lot of theatre people were kind of unimpressed with Wicked's costume department, bearing in mind it's an adaptation of a theatre production, and they felt Nosferatu was robbed.
Oh.
I've seen some of the costume and stuff from Nosferatu. It looks phenomenal. I thought that was going to win. I understand that Wicked is kind of the obvious winner for this, though.
I also think if I'm right, he is the first black person to win costume design.
Oh, I hadn't seen that anywhere, but you may well be right about that, which is, I mean, awesome.
Yeah.
Directing. Obviously, the big drama about this was a certain Denis Villeneuve not getting a nomination. Anyway, Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audidard for Emilia Perez, and Coralie Fragrant for The Substance, the winner being Sean Baker for Anora. I've not seen too much drama about who won out of the 5 nominees. The only thing I've really seen is people aren't impressed that Dennis didn't even get a nomination, which I think is valid.
Yeah.
Documentary feature. Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to A Coup d'Etat, and Sugarcane. The winner was No Other Land, what I was not aware of, and what we won't touch too closely, was that No Other Land is a documentary about the people of Palestine currently.
Oh.
And the person who was initially going to be giving out this award was Gal Gadot. For those of you who are not aware, Gal Gadot is Israeli and was a member of the IDF. She pulled out last minute, and Selena Gomez, I believe, instead gave out the award. And there is an understanding that maybe Gal Gadot pulled out because it was understood that the winner was going to be a Palestinian documentary about the way they are being treated currently. Never a dull day.
No, not with the Oscars.
No. Documentary short. Death by Numbers, I Am Ready Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, and The Only Girl in the Orchestra, which was the winner. Film editing. Sean Baker for Anora, David Jankso, I do apologise, The Brutalist, Nick Emerson, Conclave, Juliette Welthing for Emilia Perez, and Myron Kirstein for Wicked. The winner was Sean Baker for Anora. Makeup and hairstyling. A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. With the winner being The Substance. Again, it being a bit of a horror film and some of the makeup and hairstyling used in that, I don't think that was a massive shock. I think it was kind of assumed it was going to be between that and Nosferatu.
Yeah, I'd heard Nosferatu.
So I don't think it's a massive shock.
Fair enough.
Best Original Score. Daniel Bloomberg, The Brutalist. Volker Bertelmann, Conclave. Clement Ducol and Camille for Emilia Perez. John Powell and Stephanie Schwartz for Wicked. And Chris Bowers, The Wild Robot. The drama in this category was obviously surrounding Dune 2 and whether it should or shouldn't be allowed. And of course, the lack of inclusion for challengers, which had an excellent score. The winner was The Brutalist. Daniel Bloomberg. Then, original song for a film. You had El Mal for Emilia Perez, The Journey for The 6888, Like a Bird for Sing Sing, Mi Camino for Emilia Perez, and Never Too Late for Elton John, Never Too Late. The winner was El Mal for Emilia Perez.
Okay.
And then we had Best Picture, which was Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. And the winner was Anora. This brought Anora's total for the Oscars up to 5, including some of the ones we've not discussed.
Yep.
And this also gave Sean Baker a very prestigious title. He became the first ever person to, for one film, win Best Picture, Best Director, Best Editor, and Best Screenplay. Original Screenplay, sorry.
Oh.
Because he also won that one, which we didn't cover.
That's pretty impressive.
So they won 5 awards for Anora, 4 went to Sean Baker, and 1 went to Mikey Madison as the lead. The kind of drama-y bits is that Dune Part 2 only won 2 awards, whereas the first one won 6. And obviously, Dune Part 2 is a superior film. So a lot of people are a little bit miffed by that, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, that was the Oscars. Viewership is on the up. It's the highest it's been in 5 years. It's still not recovered to the point it was pre-pandemic, but it's getting closer back to pre-pandemic numbers. But for 5 years before the pandemic, the numbers were dropping off a nosedive. It went from 40 million down to 19 million when the pandemic started, and now we're back up to like 23. So still a long way to go to get back to where it was.
Yeah, though I have seen that the rights for where it's streamed and stuff is coming up
in the air.
And apparently Netflix is included in the discussion.
Yeah, that's not going to go well because Netflix have not handled live TV very well so far in the couple of test runs they've done. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah,
I'd like to see I'd like to see the Oscars do a better job of showing all of their awards, because right now only like 1 in 4 awards actually gets broadcasted.
Yeah,
and I'd like to see everyone get their moment.
Well, yeah,
and stop playing people off.
You can even do similar to what like Summer Games Fest does, where it still gets announced on stage. They don't necessarily go up and get their award, but like for the smaller ones, like at least still announce it there and then, rather than it just being like, oh, and these also got announced on the website and stuff.
Exactly.